Multi-step conversions. Conversions keep the same total amount of the measurement. It is just measured differently or expressed differently with different units. And a multi-step conversion occurs when more than one conversion is needed to solve. So let's go over an example. Example 1. To repair a circuit, an electrical wire that is 2 feet 4 inches is needed. The supplier uses metric measurements. Convert 2 feet and 4 inches to centimeters. Round answer to the nearest whole number. So for this problem, we see that we have a mix of 2 feet and 4 inches, and we need to convert it to centimeters. So we have feet, and we need to go to centimeters. And so we would kind of start thinking about how to get back to feet. So if we were to go from centimeters, we know that 2.54 centimeters is equal to 1 inch. Or you could write it as 1 inch over 2.54 centimeters. Those are the same thing. Then we know centimeters and inches are there, so now we can look at feet to inches. As we know, we have inches, and we need to get to inches. As we have feet, and we need to get to inches then. So 1 foot is equal to 12 inches, or 12 inches is equal to 1 foot. So you could write them as either or, and it will depend on the problem, on what we start with and which one we use. So what we're going to first do is actually just take care of the 2 feet, and we'll add the inches later. So we have 2 feet, and then we need to get to centimeters. So the first thing to do is get to inches, because an inches can get us to centimeters. So we need to get rid of feet. So we're going to use this conversion, as it has the foot on the bottom. So we have 12 inches over 1 foot, because this is just essentially saying we're multiplying it by 1, but it gets rid of our feet. So now we can go ahead and multiply. So now we have 2 times 12, which is equal to 24 inches. Now, what we will do now is add the 4 inches to get us to 28 inches. So now we're going to convert this. So now we have 28 inches. And then we're going to multiply it by a conversion factor to get to centimeters. So we need inches to be crossed out. So we're going to use this first one here. So we got 2.54 centimeters over 1 inch. This way inches are crossed out and we're left with just centimeters. So let's go ahead and get our calculators out. And we're going to take 28 and we're going to multiply it by 2.54 and we get 71.12. And this is in centimeters. So 2 feet and 4 inches is equal to 71.12 centimeters. So let's do another example. Example 2. A radius of a valve guide is 3.78 millimeters. Convert 3.78 millimeters to inches. Round answer to 4 decimal places. So we have 3.78 millimeters, and we need to get it to inches. So we know millimeters is in our metric system, and we need to get to inches. So millimeters we can first convert from millimeters to centimeters. So 10 millimeters is equal to 1 centimeter, because we know centimeters and inches are really close, and they have a great conversion that we've been using lately. So we know we need to first convert to centimeters. So we would go from millimeters to centimeters to inches. So we need to use one of these forms of this relationship. And then we also know we have 2.54 centimeters is equal to 1 inch, or we have 1 inch, which is equal to 2.54 centimeters. So let's go ahead and start setting this up. So we have 3.78 millimeters. Now the first thing we need to do is get to centimeters. So we need to cross out this millimeters. So we're going to use this conversion. So we will multiply and we get 1 centimeters over 10 millimeters. This way the millimeters cross out, and then we're left with just the centimeters on the top. But we want to keep going, so we want to get it to inches. So now we need to make sure we get rid of centimeters. So we're also going to use this conversion of 1 inch over 2.54 centimeters. Now this gets rid of the centimeters here, and then we're left with just inches, which is exactly what we want. So then what we do then, as our units have worked out, is we're going to multiply the top together, and then we're going to multiply the bottom together. So this becomes 3.78 times 1 times 1, so it's just 3.78 over 10 times 2.54. And this will get us to inches. So let's get a little bit more space. So let's get our calculators out, and we're going to multiply the bottom number first. So we're going to go 10 times 2.54, and we're left with 25.4. So we have 3.78 over 25.4. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to divide. So we're going to take 3.78 divided by 25.4, and we're left with 0.15, because we're going to round to our nearest hundreds. And this is in inches. So we know that 3.78 millimeters is equal to 0.15 inches. So let's do one final example. Example 3. The area of a master cylinder piston is 490.63 millimeters squared. Convert to inches squared. Round answer to 2 decimal places. So for this problem, we see that we have millimeters and we're trying to go to inches. So we're going to use the same roadmap, except we're going to do one little thing different, because this is area, which means that we need to get rid of millimeters squared. So that means everything we do, we're going to have to do it twice in order to get rid of this, because this really represents this. And so we're going to need to do everything twice in order to get rid of the units this way. So we're going to go from millimeters to centimeters, and it's all squared, to inches squared. So how we would do that is we're going to take the 490.63 millimeters times millimeters, and we're going to multiply. So for the first thing we're going to do is have 10 millimeters, which is equal to 1 centimeter, like we did on the last time. And then we're going to have to multiply by another 1 centimeters over 10 millimeters. This gets rid of this millimeter here, and this gets rid of this one here. So now we are no longer with millimeters, and now we have centimeters squared. Then our next step is to convert to inches. So we know we need to do the 2.54 centimeters, which is equal to 1 inch, times another 1 inch over 2.54 centimeters. This gets rid of this centimeter here and this centimeter here, then this one and this one. So now we're left with inches times inches, so that's inches squared, which is what we want. So how we then multiply, so we're going to multiply the top numbers, and then we need to multiply the bottom numbers together. So this becomes 490.63 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1. So that just leaves us at 490.63. Then on the bottom we have 10 times 10 times 2.54 times 2.54. And this is now in inches squared. So let's go ahead and start doing these calculations. So let's do the bottom. So we have 10 times 10, which is equal to 100. Then we'll multiply it by 2.54, which equals 254. And then we'll multiply it again by 2.54, and we're left with 645.16. And we have 490.63 on the top. So next we divide. So we take 490.63 and divide it by 645.16, and we're left with 0.76. And then this is in inches squared. So this would be our final solution.